And we did back pressure measurements. So we instrumented the car. So I've got a pressure probe in between the engine and the turbocharger. So I can see what the number is. When we wrote the Catalyst article with this car, again, so we were testing various high flow cats versus straight pipes on the dyno and how much back pressure difference is there between them, how much horsepower difference is there between them, right? And punchline, spoiler alert, the right cat, 0 power loss. Right?
Really?
Yeah, this car was line on line, same exact horsepower with the Jezzy high flow cats, their newest, latest and greatest stuff, versus a 3-inch straight pipe.
How did they accomplish that?
Well, they have sufficient total flow area, and then the substrate of the catalyst, so the brick, as you would call it, is they're metallic instead of ceramic, which means that they're thinner.
Okay.
So every wall in between the cells is physically thinner, so it blocks less of the flow. And so we have relatively high flow cell count on this, like 400 cells per square inch. It's pretty good, 300-400 cells per square inch. But the walls of the cells are thinner. Now the flow has to make it through all these little passages, but the wall takes up less room. The passage has more space. Okay, cool. And there's more total passages. So it's not only cells per square inch, but there's more square inches, right? So given enough power, it's like, why are Vipers awesome? Because they have 8.5 liters of engine. They don't have to be an efficient engine. They have 8.5 liters of it.
Right.
Right. So all the Honda guys are like, oh, we make more horsepower per cubic inch, and the Viper guys are laughing.
Right.
Same argument, right? So just, more cowbell. Right. So at a 4.5-inch brick versus a 3-inch brick, there's more flow area.
Okay.
Right. And as you add a 1/4 inch to the diameter, it's the whole pi r squared thing, right? The area goes up pretty fast as the radius increases. Right. A little tiny bit of extra radius makes a significantly larger amount of area. So, high school trig going on here. So we just open up the area enough.
Right.
And even with the cells in between there, we still have a lot of flow area.
Okay.
And so the flow area of a 4.5-inch brick on paper is really not all that different than 3-inch straight pipe.
Okay.
And even a 3-inch straight pipe has a boundary layer around the outside, right? So the flow right against the wall is not flowing. It's, and the further away from the wall you get, the less restriction you have, right? And the same thing with every one of those cells. But if we have enough of them, it kind of doesn't matter. And the proof was we instrumented before and after pressures, right? So we can see the pressure drop across the brick. When there's no significant increase in pressure upstream of the brick versus downstream of the brick's not slowing you down. The brick is not restricting the flow. So basic science, right? We're just applying that to our hot rods. And so if I have enough area that the pressure drop is not significant, I wouldn't suspect that it impedes the flow, and airflow equals horsepower.
Right.
And what a shocker. The two dyno graphs were line on line with each other.
Now, is it still spending enough time in the catalyst material that it's burning the emissions off that it was intended for?
So as we add more cross-sectional area, we now have more surface area of treated metal that can do the catalytic reaction, right? Okay. So some high flow cats are only 100 cell per square inch, and that means you really don't have a whole lot of surface area of reactive stuff touching the bad gases to help clean them up. And in the emissions range, we're not up at the wide open throttle power, right? That's a different discussion. So FTP 75 is like kind of the gold standard of how we measure emissions. And during that test, the flows are kind of low, right? So cats don't represent a significant restriction on cycle other than like US06 SCO3. And even then, these cars, big engines, who cares? So the more surface area of the substrate we have available to interact with the exhaust gases, the more conversion we can get done. On top of that, some catalyst manufacturers put more precious metal on than others. So a lot of the high flow cats might just be a piece of stainless sitting in the pipe. Others, like this one, have a significant amount of platinum, palladium, and rhodium on them, and they're expensive because the precious metals are precious.
Yeah. So he's got to be careful where he parks is what he's saying.
Good luck getting underneath this thing.
Yeah, right.
I'm more worried about the RAM.
Right, yeah.
this thing will be all right? They're not coming in and getting under this car. They have to jack it up, and God bless them. So having enough platinum, palladium, rhodium and rhodium is one of the ones that really does a good job of cleaning up the emissions.
Okay.
But that's also crazy expensive if you check the prices.
I know this is a little bit of a side tangent, but is there like a ratio of those that you kind of want, or do you know much about that, or how?
Yeah, that's the magic. That's what OEMs will not share with each other.
Okay.
Or the outside world. They will not tell you. That's the secret sauce.
Okay.
Now, I see it in my daily work because I do emissions homologation work for an OEM. And I see their cat loading on all the different programs. But that is strictly confidential.
Right. Yeah.
But yes, if they can get away with, a little more eye of newt versus wing of bat, right? And whatever they got to do to get the most reactivity to get nothing but carbon dioxide and water going out the tailpipe. That's what they're going to do. Now, obviously, they want to clean up the combustion system on the front end. Burn as much as you can inside the cylinder and be clean.
If you enjoyed this clip, head on over to the main Monoxide channel to check out the full episode, or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Thanks for watching.